Good morning, children. This is Shweta ma'am here. I hope that everybody is staying at your home and keeping well. So regarding your study materials, if you are having any problem, please let me know. I will try to solve your queries definitely. So today let's start with our online lessons. So today we will start with our next chapter, that is Animal Kingdom. In the previous chapter of biological classification, we have learned that there are 5 kingdoms which are present and widely accepted. Out of those, one of the most advanced kingdom is the animal kingdom. So today we will see one by one the features of this animal classification. The first feature is what levels of structural organization of a multicellular animal. We all know that these animals are always multicellular in nature. That means more than one cell is being present, right? So we'll see the different levels. So 4 different levels are present. What are those? Cellular level, tissue level, organ level, and system level. Firstly, the cellular level. So we all know that the cells, these are the structural and functional unit of all the living organisms. And these cells specifically, they have some specific functions which are to be done. So this is referred to as the division of labor among the cells. So each cell is having one specific function which is being contributing towards the organism. Next, the tissue level. So the cells which are being present having the similar structure, origin as well as function, they together forms particular tissue. For example, what? Epithelial, connective, muscular as well as nervous. So these types of animal tissues are being present. Wherever this organ level, what does it denote? All the tissues together forms the organs. Right? So this is referred to as the organ level, and several organs together constitutes the organ system, which ultimately denotes an organism. So firstly, starting with the cell, it forms the tissues together forms the organ together forms the organ system, and thereby an organism is being developed. The next type of feature is symmetry. Right? Symmetry, these organisms can be classified into 2 types. One is asymmetrical, another one is symmetrical. So firstly, the animals in which any plane passes through the center does not divide them into equal halves. That means what? Unequal divisions are being present, right? So that type of organisms are referred to as asymmetrical. For example, the sponges as well as the amoeba. You have heard about amoeba, right? So these amoeba are the asymmetrical organisms which are present. Next is symmetrical. Symmetrical means the body of some animals can be divided into 2 similar equal halves by one or more planes. Such animals are called symmetrical. So the symmetrical organisms, they can be further divided into radial symmetry as well as bilateral symmetry. Firstly, radial symmetry means what? Through the radius. The symmetry which takes place through the radius is referred to as radial symmetry. And the organism, it will be divided into 2 identical halves. For example, coelenterets, ctenophores as well as echinoderms. Okay, so these organisms we will see through the details in the next part of this chapter. Next is bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry means what? That means 2 equal halves from one plane. That is referred to as a bilateral symmetry. So the body can be divided into equal left and right half in one plane. For example, we the humans are also having the bilateral symmetry. The next feature is diploblastic and triploblastic organization. So in the animals, if we consider, there are some embryonic layers which are being present. So whenever 2 embryonic layers are present, it is called as diploblastic because di word is present, di means 2. And whenever 3 embryonic layers are present, it is called as triploblastic. Firstly, coming to diploblastic animals, these are the animals in which the cells, they are arranged into 2 embryonic layers. What are those? An external ectoderm and an internal endoderm. So 2 layers are present. For example, coelenterets. Another one, an undifferentiated layer, specifically referred to as mesoglia, whenever it is present in between this external ectoderm and an internal endoderm, this is referred to as the 3rd germinal layer, right? So these 3 layers together constitutes of the triploblastic organization of animals. For example, the chordates, we are also having this triploblastic organization. Next, coming to coelom. So the presence or absence of a cavity. What cavity? The body cavity, where it is present in between the body wall and the gut wall. So wherever this body wall and gut wall, in between this an important body cavity is being present, that is referred to as the coelom. Now there are some animals which are having the coelom, and there are some which are not having the coelom. Whereas there are different animals in which the coelom is present, but they are not very much of function. Right? So depending on those, animals are being divided into three types. One is coelomate on the basis of presence of coelom. Another one is pseudocoelomate on the basis of the presence of coelom, which is false in nature. And another one is acoelomate, in which the animals are lacking the body cavity. So here you can see the animals possessing the coelom are called coelomates. For example, annelids, molars, arthropods and so on. The body cavity here, what happens? It is false in nature. It is referred to as the pseudocoelomates, for example, the Aschelminthes, and the animals in which the body cavity are absent, they are referred to as acoelomates, for example, Platyhelminthes. The next feature is segmentation. That means the divisions, right? So whenever the body is externally or internally divided into repeated segmentations, repeated divisions, that is referred to as segmentation. For example, in earthworm, what happens? The body shows this metameric segmentation, and the phenomenon is referred to as metamerism. That means if you can see, if you could remember the body of the earthworm, you will notice that the body is divided into different divisions, right? So the division is present externally, as we can see, as well as internally also it is present. So that is referred to as segmentation. The last feature which is being present is notochord. So what is this notochord? This notochord is a mesodermally derived rod-like structure that is formed on the dorsal side during embryonic development in some animals, right? So these animals with notochord, wherever notochord is present, those animals are called chordates, and if these notochords are absent, these animals are called as non-chordates. For example, the porifera to the echinoderms. Okay, and the chordates, we all know, we also fall under this classification, right? Next, we will start on with the classification of the animals. So firstly, if we consider this Animalia kingdom, it is obviously multicellular animals which are included, right? Okay, so this chart which you are getting to see over here, this chart you can see in your NCERT books also, children. So you can refer to that also while seeing this. So firstly, the levels of organization. So you have studied this, that there is cellular level as well as tissue, organ and organ system level. So firstly, depending on the cellular level, firstly we will see the different phylums which are being present, right? So firstly, cellular level, firstly is porifera. Then coming to tissue, organ or organ system level, again two symmetry are present. One is radial, another one is bilateral. The radial symmetry organisms are what? Coelenterata, which is also called Cnidaria, and Ctenophora. And the bilateral organisms, which is having three types, I've just now mentioned. Without body cavity, there is acoelomates, Platyhelminthes. With false coelom, pseudocoelomates, Aschelminthes. And with true coelom or the body cavity called as coelomates, that are Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. So in together, if we consider all the phylums, we'll start from Porifera, then Cnidaria, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. So these are the different phylums which needs to be studied one by one. So in this lesson, we will study till the phylum Aschelminthes, and the rest of the phylums will start in the next lesson. So firstly, starting with phylum Porifera. So this word porifera, it means the pore bearers. This word pori is coming from the word pore, right? So you can see over here, porous refers to pore and fera to bear. So wherever the organisms which are having the minute pores in the body is referred to as porifera. And those minute pores are referred to as ostia, through which a continuous current of outside water is drawn into the body. So one by one we will see the salient features of these organisms. So firstly, these sponges are aquatic, asymmetrical or radially symmetrical. Aquatic means water loving. Asymmetrical we have just now read, right? That means unequal division. And radially symmetrical means there are some organisms which can be divided on the basis of radius. Second point is Z diploblastic. That means two germinal layers are present. Third, I've just now mentioned their body are consisting of minute pores which is called as ostia. And this ostia, it ultimately opens into a large cavity which is called what? Spongocyll. So these are the sponges and cyll is the cavity, so spongocyll. And the spongocyll, it opens to the outside by a large opening called osculum. Okay, so starting from ostia, these are the pores which is opening into the spongocyll, and spongocyll ultimately to a large opening called osculum, which is ultimately moving outside of the body. So the sponges, it poses as an endoskeleton in the form of calcareous picus. Picus means what? A spike-like structures are present, and calcareous, why? Because they are calcium containing. So the sponges, they are having an endoskeleton which is calcium containing and spike in nature. The excretion and respiration, it occurs by means of diffusion. Diffusion, all of you know what is that, right? So from higher to lower concentration, it is being flowing out. So excretion and respiration is taking place by the means of that. And reproduction takes place by the asexual as well as sexual methods. That means the gametes are involved or it cannot be involved also. The next phylum, that is Cnidaria or Coelenterata. So what Coelenterata refers? It refers to the single internal cavity called coelenteron or gastrovascular cavity. And this Cnidaria, if we consider, it is the presence of some stinging cells, and from the name also you can consider this Cnid means stinging cells. So some cells are present which are helpful in the process of stinging. So what are the different features? So firstly, obviously they are multicellular organisms because they are falling under this animal kingdom. They have the tissue grade organization. I've shown you in the chart previously. These are falling under the tissue level, right? This Coelenterata. And this body is radially symmetrical. So children, if you see this chart specifically, you can get several points from this chart itself. So you need to learn this chart very nicely. Okay, so 2 to 3 points from this chart also you can get. So this radially symmetrical means what? Radially symmetrical means again, it is dividing from the radius. And all of these members are aquatic, that means water loving. They are solitary or colonial, and the body is diploblastic. Solitary or colonial means what? Solitary means single and colonial means in group. And the body is diploblastic means 2 germinal layers are present. So polyp and medusa occur in the life cycle. So two different stages are present in the body of this Cnidaria organisms that are referred to as polyp as well as medusa. I've just now mentioned that the stinging cells are present, which is called as nematocyst. The coelom is absent here, and the coelenterats are acoelomate animals. In the previously I've seen that 3 types of organisms are present, right? Acoelomate, coelomate and pseudocoelomate. So this Cnidarians, these are the acoelomate animals because coelom is absent here. A gastrovascular cavity or coelenteron is present, and mouth is present but anus is absent. So in these organisms, it is taking place through one side, that is mouth. The next phylum is Ctenophora. Firstly, this Ctenophora is a very small phylum. And this Ctenophora, if you consider the word, this ctene means knob, comb, and force means bearing. So these are the comb bearing structures which are present. So the ctenophores, these are the marine organisms which are present and the transparent in nature. And they have a tissue grade organization similarly as that of the Cnidarians. This organisms, they have a bilateral symmetry and are acoelomate animals. Okay, so this acoelomate I have mentioned, right? This acoelomate means without body cavity, and radial symmetry means it is dividing depending on the radius. And these organisms, they are non-segmented. That means the segmentation is absent over here. The body wall is diploblastic, that means 2 germinal layers, ectoderm and endoderm are present. And these organisms, they have a special adhesive cells which are called coloblast and are present in all ctenophores. So this coloblast is present in the phylum Ctenophora. So gastrovascular system in these organisms is very much well developed, and the 2 anal openings are being present. In the Cnidarians, we have seen that only mouth is present as a single pore and anus is absent, right? But in Ctenophora, 2 anal openings are being present. And for the locomotion of these organisms, cilia is present. Next, coming to the phylum Platyhelminthes. So what does this phylum consider? So this Platyhelminthes phylum, these phylum are having the flatworms. So from the name, if we consider, Platys refers to flat and helminthes means the worms. So this Platyhelminthes, these are the flatworms which are present. And these organisms, as because they're flat in nature, they're dorsoventrally flattened. Okay, and they're obviously having bilateral symmetry. So firstly, they are dorsoventrally flattened like a leaf. So if you consider the leaf, they have two separate spaces. One is dorsal, another one is ventral, right? So two different spaces are present, and thereby it is referred to as dorsoventrally flattened structures. They show an organ grade of organization. So previously we have studied that tissue level of organization is present. So in this one, the organ grade of organization is present. Next is, these organisms, they are the acoelomate, that means without any body cavity, bilaterally symmetrical. Obviously, it is divided into two halves, right and left, and triploblastic animals specifically, that means 3 germinal layers are present, that means in between ectoderm and endoderm, the mesoglia is present. Some members have segmented bodies. So there are some members in this phylum which are having the segmentations in them. There is no circulatory system. The excretory system is formed of protonephridia, and they are called the flame cells. So this is important. This excretory system, they're taking place with the help of specific flame cells which are present. The nervous system is well developed, and they are hermaphrodites. What does this mean? That means both male and female reproductive organs are present in the same animal. So that's why they're referred to as hermaphrodites. And the fertilization is internal to them, and they are free living or parasitic organisms which are being present. Next is phylum Nematoda or Aschelminthes. So these organisms, they are the roundworms. We know two types of worms are present, right? So this Helminthes or the Minthes group specifically, if we consider, these are the group having worm-like structures, right? So starting with Aschelminthes, these organisms, they are the roundworms. That means Nema referred to as thread, and Helminth again referred to as the worms. So these are the nematodes which are present. So coming to the salient features, this Aschelminthes, they are the mostly free living or may occur in water or within the soil, and they have specific bilateral symmetry of an organ system level of organization. So like that of the previous Platyhelminthes, this Nematoda, they also have this organ system level of organization. They are also having the triploblastic animals, that means 3 germinal layers, ectoderm, endoderm, and in between mesoglia. This Aschelminthes, they are the pseudocoelomates, that means the false coelom. So the body cavity is present but not lined by the mesodermal epithelium, and hence they are false. The alimentary canal which is present is complete and is well developed with muscular pharynx. The nematodes, they reproduce by means of only sexual method, and the sexes, they are separate and exhibit sexual dimorphism. The males, they are generally smaller and the females than the females, and they lead to the process of copulation or mating. How is the fertilization? It is internal, and the fertilized eggs, they develop directly or indirectly through the larvae that undergo molting and finally grows into adults. So we have studied different phylums today. What are those? Porifera, Cnidaria, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, and Aschelminthes. So I hope that all of you have understood about this the different phylums and the salient features and the differences also. So in the next lesson, we will continue with the next part of the chapter. Thank you so much.